Inside Football with Bud Wilkinson, head coach of the University of Oklahoma's football team. 15 minutes of fast-moving, exciting highlights of football. The people, its plays, and its problems. Brought to you by your National Guard, a strong force of citizen soldiers and airmen. On the ground and in the air, they serve with pride on America's first line of defense. And now, here's Bud Wilkinson.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. When our Oklahoma University football team played Duke in the Orange Bowl in 1958, a single pass interception by David Baker was the crucial, critical play of the game. Duke had the ball and was moving deep in Oklahoma territory. They ran off tackle to the left and picked up a yard. On second down, quarterback tossed to the left halfback, who cut inside and drove for 4 more. It was 3rd and 5 on the Oklahoma 16. At this point, the quarterback rolled out to pass, and David Baker made a beautiful interception. Catching the ball on the 5-yard line, he picked up the blocking of his teammates and went 95 yards into the end zone for a truly crucial touchdown. Everybody at Oklahoma was mighty happy.
Well, Bud, is a spectacular pass interception luck, or is it planned?
Well, I guess you'd have to say it's a little bit of both, because you have to have the cooperation of the passer throwing the ball where it could be intercepted. But essentially, pass defense by the halfback is a planned play, and pass defense involves, first, a decision on the part of the halfback. Is the play a pass or is it a run? Having made that decision, the movement of the halfback must be accurate. He must keep proper position on the receiver. His anticipation is of vital importance. He must move as the passer throws the ball. And then finally, he should always try for the interception. He should play the ball, not the receiver.
We'll find out more about pass interception right after this word from the National Guard.
Do you know that sound? That's a scramble bell. When it rings, pilots of your Air National Guard are in the air in minutes. As part of our nation's air defense team, units of your Air National Guard are on alert every day in the year. This is a proud force of citizen airmen, your friends and neighbors who give their time for your defense. During the Korean emergency, more than 45,000 officers and airmen of the Air National Guard served with the Air Force. Their readiness paid off. Today, when readiness is even more important, pilots and airmen of the Air National Guard are training in units throughout the nation. Many of these young men are acquiring valuable technical skills that will keep America's air defense strong. Yes, when you look at the job being done today, you will agree it pays to keep your Air Guard up.
Bud, is it possible for a fan to see a pass interception develop?
Well, I think so, Howard. If we use these little men, I believe I can make the point clear. Often in a football game, when there are 22 people on the field, it's hard to concentrate your attention at the vital point. So I'm going to take out the eligible pass receivers on this offensive team, the backfield and the ends, and I'm also going to get rid of the linebackers and 2 people out of the secondary of the defensive team. You now are the defensive halfback trying to decide whether this play is a pass or a run. And what you should do is look at the offensive linemen who do not have a defensive man playing in front of them. The rules say that the guards and the tackles in the center cannot cross the line of scrimmage and come downfield if the play is a pass. So you look at this guard who does not have a man in front of him, and if he steps back, and if the other linemen drop back also, then you must drop back because the play could be a pass. On the other hand, if when the ball is snapped, this man charges out aggressively and crosses the line of scrimmage, and if his teammates do likewise, you know now that the rules prohibit them passing the ball, and you can come up and support quickly for the running play. That's how you make your decision. Let's watch the linemen now as the teams practice on the field. Look at the left guard, number 91, in the middle of your screen. This shot is in slow motion. Instead of charging out, he drops back. You, as a defensive halfback, should drop back too, because when the line does not cross the scrimmage area, there's always the possibility of a pass. Let's watch the teams again. Look at number 91, the player to the right of the center, directly in the middle of the screen. That time he drove forward. You can come up because you know it is a run if he crosses the line. Here in slow motion, he drives forward again. Come up quickly to support. After you've decided whether the play is a pass or a run, you must keep proper position on the receiver. So let's put one of the ends back in the formation And assume now that the line showed pass. As he comes down the field, the defensive halfback should stay slightly to his outside and about 4 yards behind him and keep that relationship until the passer throws the ball. As the end starts down the field, the halfback retreats, keeping approximately 4 yards in front of him and 1 yard to the outside. Let's watch the movement of the halfback again in slow motion. It's a pass possibility. He gives ground, keeping slightly to the outside and about 4 yards in front. The most important and yet most difficult thing in pass defense is to anticipate the throw of the ball. Now, many passers fake that they're going to throw it, but when they actually get ready to deliver it, you can always tell because they draw back and really put themselves in position to throw. You've got to move before the ball leaves the passer's hands. If you wait until he actually throws the ball, you'll always be a step or two away from the interception. But if you watch him carefully and when he draws back to deliver, you leave now, you'll be there in time to make the interception. The passer drops back, he sets, you should break. Again, moving with the passer, you can go for the interception, and if you don't catch the ball, you at least keep the intended receiver from getting it too. Let's watch it once more in slow motion. Moving with the quarterback, the defensive halfback drives in for the ball. He doesn't catch it, but neither does the intended receiver. If you play it properly and the pass is ever underthrown, you'll get the interception, and it may be for 6 points. David Baker executed all 4 of these fundamentals when he made the interception which you saw at the opening of the show. Let's take another look at that play. In playing the ball, all pass defenders must remember that when the passer makes his throw, the ball is free and both sides have an equal right to catch it. It's always a mistake to go up and try to knock the ball down. What you should do is to drive through your opponent in an attempt to catch the ball. And if you are not able to catch it, you at least have knocked him away from it too. Always play for the interception. Let's take another look at Baker's play. Duke had the ball on the 16. The quarterback rolled out to throw. The ball is in the air, and by now, Baker must have decided it is a pass. He must have kept position, and he also must have anticipated the throw. You can see here that he did because he's moving toward the Duke goal line before catching the ball. These pictures are a little blurred because the players were moving rather rapidly. A pass interception is a team play. The arrow at the right shows an Oklahoma lineman picking off 2 Duke defenders. The arrow in the middle of the picture shows another lineman cutting down 2 more. To the left, a lineman leads downfield to get the last Blue Devil. With that kind of team play, Baker was able to turn his fine interception into a game-breaking touchdown.
Bud, hasn't the extra point rule been changed?
Yes, this year in intercollegiate football, there are 2 changes on the extra point rule. First, the scoring on the extra point. If you run or pass the ball across the goal line, you will get 2 points, and if you kick it through the goal post, you're going to get 1 point. Then the ball has been moved back 1 more yard from the goal line. Here's where the old extra point line was, 2 yards from the goal line. This year in college ball, it will be 3 yards back, 1 more yard than last year. Now, 1 yard doesn't sound like much, but when you're close to the goal line, it makes tremendous difference. There's the old line to the right and the new line to the left, 3 yards from the goal line. There's some disagreement among coaches as to the value of this new rule, so I've asked a couple of my good friends to come in and explain to you how they feel about it. First, I'd like you to meet Coach Duffy Doherty of the Michigan State Spartans. Duffy, you're not in favor of this new rule, are you?
Well, I'm not exactly opposed to the new rule, although I didn't feel that there was any necessity for a change in our past scoring rules as they've been for many, many years. I don't know what the rule is devised to prove, whether it's to eliminate tie games. Personally, I'm a great believer in that old Chinese proverb. Confucius say, "He who make plenty touchdowns, no need worry about conversion rules." So, seriously, this idea of the new rule of giving 2, when you run the ball over from the 3-yard line, 2 points and 1 point for a kick. At Michigan State, we're going to treat it just like a 4th down and 3-yard situation. In other words, if we'll be dictated to by the situations during the ball game. If we happen to score first, we're a little bit selfish, and I imagine we'll try to be a little bit hoggish and go for the 2 points. We'll try to run it over because we're already 6 points ahead in the ball game. The one time when we will kick, one of the times when we will kick will be any time that kick, the 1 point, will put us ahead in the ball game.
Thank you, Duffy. And now I'd like you to meet Coach Henry Red Sanders of UCLA, the famous UCLA Bruins. Red, how do you feel about the new rule?
Well, Bud, I'll tell you, number one, and by far the most important reason, I favor any type of legislation that tends to reduce the number of tie games. Secondly, I feel that the new rule change gives a slight advantage, at least, to the better team on a given day. For example, we've all seen games played where one team seems to dominate the play, yet you ended up with a score possible 6-6. I believe that the better team has a better chance to make the 2 points from 3 yards out than the inferior team. And lastly, and not the least important, I feel that fans should have some consideration in any rule change. I've talked with a lot of fans and supporters of football, and I don't believe I've talked with one who didn't favor the present rule.
We'll find out what Bud's going to do about the extra point right after this word from the National Guard.
Awareness, mobility, speed. These are key words in football. In order to achieve this in our national defense, America must be on its toes. If you're between the ages of 17 and 25 and have a military obligation, you can fill it by joining your Army National Guard. You will receive valuable technical training while you build a proud career as a citizen soldier. If you are a veteran with a remaining service obligation, complete that obligation while serving with your Army National Guard in your own hometown unit. Remember, as a young man of 17 or over, or a veteran, there's a place for you in America's largest, readiest reserve force. Stop by your local National Guard armory today and get the complete details. It pays in many ways to join the Army National Guard.
Well, Bud, what are you going to do about the extra point?
Well, I think all of we coaches would simply like to turn to the crowd in the stands and say, what would you do? Let's take a hypothetical game between the University of Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan University leading State 7-0 in the fourth quarter. As the game draws to a close, let's suppose that Michigan State breaks off tackle with someone who can run like Clarence Peaks carrying the ball. It looked as though he might go all the way, but he was stopped on the 30-yard line with just a little more than a minute remaining in the game. Again, let's imagine that Walt Kowalczak takes the handoff and breaks into the clear to score standing up. That changes everything. Michigan State now has 6 points with 1 minute remaining on the clock, and the University of Michigan has 7. And so we're faced with a difficult decision. The score is 7-6. Should we take the opportunity and go for 2 points in an effort to win, or should we use the relative security of the kick, try to make the 1 point and tie? I think General MacArthur had the right answer. He said there's no security in life, only opportunity. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
Inside Football features Bud Wilkinson and Howard Newman. Executive producer, Ned Hockman. Produced at Southwest Film Center. Inside Football is brought to you as a public service in support of your National Guard.
Passer throwing the ball where it could be intercepted. But essentially, pass defense by the halfback is a planned play, and pass defense involves, first, a decision on the part of the halfback. Is the play a pass or is it a run? Having made that decision, the movement of the halfback must be accurate. He must keep proper position on the receiver. His anticipation is of vital importance. He must move as the passer throws the ball. And then finally, he should always try for the interception. He should play the ball, not the receiver.
We'll find out more about passing.
They serve with pride on America's first line of defense. And now, here's Bud Wilkinson.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. When our Oklahoma University football team played Duke in the Orange Bowl in 1958, a single pass interception by David Baker was the crucial, critical play of the game. Duke had the ball and was moving deep in Oklahoma territory. They ran off tackle to the left and picked up a yard. On second down, quarterback tossed to the left halfback, who cut inside and drove for 4 more. It was
Inside Football with Bud Wilkinson, head coach of the University of Oklahoma's football team. 15 minutes of fast-moving, exciting highlights of football. The people, its plays, and its problems. Brought to you by your National Guard, a strong force of citizen soldiers and airmen. On the ground and in the air.
Interception right after this word from the National Guard.
Do you know that sound? That's a scramble bell. When it rings, pilots of your Air National Guard are in the air in minutes. As part of our nation's air defense team, units of your Air National Guard are on alert every day in the year. This is a proud force of citizen airmen, your friends and neighbors who give their time for your defense. During the career, 3rd and 5 on the Oklahoma 16. At this point, the quarterback rolled out to pass, and David Baker made a beautiful interception. Catching the ball on the 5-yard line, he picked up the blocking of his teammates and went 95 yards into the end zone for a truly crucial touchdown. Everybody at Oklahoma was mighty happy.
Well, Bud, is a spectacular pass interception luck, or is it planned?
Well, I guess you'd have to say it's a little bit of both, because you have to have the cooperation of the